Right now, it's 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome again to the Grand Supreme News Channel. So we have some very important information coming out, and I want to show you something really quick here, guys. There's been some crazy news coming out, and we need to pray for millions of people in the Middle East. All right, so it says here all U.S. military bases throughout the Pacific region have officially raised their force protection condition from Alpha to Bravo, indicating credible threats and prompting enhanced security measures across all installations. Okay, so um, this is the breaking news that's coming out right now. And below are the official charts detailing the various levels of force protection condition. All right, so once again, guys, um, we need to pray for all the soldiers out there. Once again, Donald is heading to the Situation Room, and he's bringing in some very important people. Um, and from what I heard, there's not going to be any strike. Donald is giving his final warning to Iran. Now, here's the thing, the reason why Donald is giving a final warning is because he's giving uh, millions of people in Iran capital to get out of Dodge. That's the reason why Donald is giving a final warning, so that way people have enough time to get out. All right, so we're talking about 9, possibly 15 million Iranians. All right. So I do believe Donald is giving them a heads up. Guys, if you can hear me, leave comments down below. I got the AirPods. So if you guys can hear me, please leave comments down below. All right. So I did get some AirPods. Some people were saying that the audio was not that great. So I did got some AirPods. Vic say bye, Lewis. Okay, guys, is the audio a lot better? Let me know, okay? Okay, so we have some more breaking news. We have some more breaking news here. Okay, so a lot of people saying it sounds better. Okay, so we have more breaking news. Here we go, guys. The New York Times is reporting that President Donald Trump is weighing a critical decision amid the escalating 4-day war between the Holy Land and Iran, whether to directly intervene by assisting the Holy Land in striking Iran deeply buried nuclear enrichment facility at Fordo, a site so fortified that only U.S. bunker busters bombs deployed by American B-2 stealth bombers are capable of reaching. All right, so that's what Benjamin is urging Donald to intervene. Benjamin is saying, Donald, I need you, man. We didn't take out the nuclear facility, man. We uh we we kind of took out some of the stuff, but they still have the nuclear facility. All right, so there's a possibility. I do believe the US is gonna get involved. Um, Also, there's been a huge explosion. There was a ship. I think multiple ship got hit. So let me just pull that information up really quick here. All right, so here we go. And this is coming out from NASA satellite. Breaking news: intense strike target the IRGC and Army base. Okay, this is a base. This is not the ship. This is the base. They got hit. Heavy aerial assault are underway against Persian military infrastructure. Multiple IRGC and regular army installation are being hit in what appears to be a coordinated strike campaign. Wow. So they got hit really hard. All right. So once again, you got Iran is getting hit. Now, give me a second here, guys. Here we go. Three ships burning off Iran coast and the Gulf of Oman. So Iran is getting hit really hard tonight. So you got unconfirmed photos are circulating allegedly showing three ships on fire off the Persian coast in the Gulf of Oman near the strategic Strait of Hormuz. NASA's Fire Information for Rescue Management System appears to confirm three fire location in the area. Man, they're getting hit. So here's a news article. Gulf of Oman ships on fire near Strait of Hormuz amid a Holy Land Iran conflict. Give me a second here, guys. There's some crazy advertisement going on here. Several social media users cited photos to claim that three ships were on fire in the Gulf of Oman near the Strait of Hormuz. Give me a second here. The president returned from the G7 summit on Monday. Several social media users cited photos to claim that three ships were on fire in the Gulf of Oman near the Strait of Hormuz. We checked NASA's Fire Information for Resource Management System, and the map finds three red blots in the Gulf of Oman. However, we couldn't verify if the ships were on fire. All right, so there's something. They found something. They found something. And they're saying that it's persons ship that were hit. Now, I'm not seeing Fox or CNN or any news media talking about this, but it's going around X. And it shows a NASA website that there's something going on in the Strait of Hormuz. Photos on social media, one person wrote, photos are currently circulating which appear to show three ships on fire off the coast of Iran and the Gulf of Oman near the Strait of Hormuz. NASA's Fire Information for Resources Management System map appearing to confirm three fires in the Gulf of Oman. Three fires. And it says here, according to NASA firms, there are three heat signatures coming from vessels in the Gulf of Oman entering the Strait of Hormuz. Another one added on X platform, formerly known as Twitter. Photos are currently circulating, which appear to show three ships on fire. Now, guys, I don't know if we have anything out there in the Gulf of Odom, and but this is not good news. This is not good news. The Gulf of Oman, located between Oman and Iran, Pakistan, and the UAE, connects to the Arabian Sea to the Persian Gulf. Is critical in the Holy Land Iran conflict. 20% of oil flows through this checkpoint or choke point. Iran warning to close the strait could disrupt oil markets, impacting the Holy Land and global economy, escalating tensions. Wow. So again, that's not good news. That is absolutely not good news. This comes as U.S. Defense Secretary Pete told Fox News that the president was still aiming for a nuclear deal with Iran, even as hostilities have escalated between Tehran and Tel Aviv. Of course, Pete said after he was asked whether Donald was still aiming for a nuclear deal with Iran, we are postured defensively. All right, so here's the thing, guys. Again, we already know this here, but Donald said that he's giving his final warning. His final warning. And I know what Donald is doing here. Donald is giving heads up to a lot of people out there to leave, get out, leave Tehran. I think that's how you pronounce their name, the capital of Iran. All right, give me a second here. We're gonna go back on X. All right, we're gonna go back on X. If you can give this video a thumbs up, I really appreciate it, guys. Um, so we have some breaking news here. The president orders direct Iran talk as Rubio and Pete rush to the White House Situation Room. All right, so guys, this situation room is going to be the big one here, guys. There's a possibility they might discuss uh, getting involved with in this war to help Israel. There's a possibility they might talk about other stuff, and but at the same time, we need to pray for the soldiers out there. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is flying back to Washington tonight with the president, who has reportedly instructed his team to seek an immediate direct meeting with Iranian officials as the crisis escalates. The Defense Secretary, Pete, is heading to the White House Situation Room to brief the president and the national security team. While the U.S. repositioned warships and military aircraft in the region, the urgent diplomatic push comes as U.S. forces have already helped the Holy Land intercept Persian missiles, with the president apparently seeking to de escalate through direct negotiation rather than further military involvement. All right, so you have Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete and the president heading to the Situation Room. At the same time, we cannot forget this one here. We cannot forget Ukraine. Several fire burn and smoke rises tonight across UKR, Ukraine capital of Kiev, following a large-scale missiles and drone strike by the bear. All right, so you got some stuff going on with that. Yeah, you got some stuff going on with with those two countries. Um, Once again, for those of you that just tuned in, I'm gonna bring this one more time. Let me just show you really quick here. All U.S. military bases throughout the Indo-Pacific region have officially raised their force protection condition from Alpha to Bravo, indicating credible threats and prompting enhanced security measures across all installation. So from Alpha to Bravo. Below are the official chart detailing the various levels of force protection. Let's see what's going on. So it's the red one, all right? So, ooh, okay, so the red one means applies in the immediate area where a terror attack has occurred or when intelligence has been received that a terror action against a specific location or a person is imminent. All right, so U.S. military bases from Alpha to Bravo, and that's the highest. That is the highest. So we need to pray for our troops out there. Okay, give me 1 second here. Let me bring this one up really quick. Everybody's leaving. Everybody, this is Iran, by the way. This is Iran capital. All right, so they're trying to get out of Dodge. 15 million evacuate Tehran. Iran ahead of a possible, well, I wouldn't say nukes. I wouldn't say nukes. I wouldn't say nukes, but Yeah, Donald's giving one warning, one more warning to Iran to end this nuclear stuff, but Iran is going to say no. So I do believe that Donald is giving heads up to the people of Iran to get out of the capital. Um, okay, give me 1 second here, guys. We got some breaking news. It's already daytime out there in Iran. The sun rises over the Iranian capital to more strike by the Holy Land Air Force, with an airstrike earlier reportedly targeting a site near Sabalan Square. So right now it's daytime. Um, this is not looking good. Kiev is choking. Thick smoke blankets the capital. After the bare massive strike sparked fire across the city, air quality monitoring services report a sharp deterioration in multiple districts. So the bare fire hypersonic missiles, and they really, really dropped the hammer tonight. Guys, there is some information coming out. I don't know if this is the real deal, but let me show you really quick. Hold on, give me a second. I'm seeing this post, everybody's sharing it. SOS critical alert, nukes confirmed, continuity of gov activity, activated. You have Donald Bunker code Black Crow. Washington ops underway, prepare USS Nimitz, that's the warship, for strike operation, grid compromised, cyber breach detected, hypersonic and tactical. Okay, so yeah, again, I don't think this is the real deal. Yeah, I don't think that's the real deal. I mean, we're not there yet. So we are not there yet. Um, guys, I want to bring this news up. This is Donald's son, Eric Trump. He said if Mexico fire rockets, they be decapitated in seconds. Whoa. If Mexico, let's just say that was a scenario, fire rockets at the US, I think they'd be decapitated in about, 4 seconds. Of course, America wouldn't stand for that. Not a single American would stand for that. No American leader would stand for that. My father certainly wouldn't stand for that. And I think it's a great parallel to exactly what's happening right now. I guess, because Mexico, you got the president out there. She's telling her people out there, but at first she told them to stand up and rise and blah, blah, blah. And you guys know there was that protest in Los Angeles. All right, give me a second here. And thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Okay, we got some updates about the oil tanker. We got some updates about the oil tanker. All right, so the oil tankers, Adalin and the front eagle collide. What, they collide? The ship tracking data confirms tankers, Adalin and front eagle collided in the Gulf of Oman, with at least one vessel now on fire. The collision appeared to have occurred over 3 hours ago, and yet no distress signals or maritime alerts were issued until NASA satellite imagery revealed the fires. Maritime security firm Umbre has now confirmed the incident. The collision location coincides with the thermal anomalies detected by NASA firms. So here's a picture, and it seems like they both collided. So I guess it wasn't a missile hit. Okay, so we have more breaking news. NASA's coming out. NASA confirms multiple fires in Gulf of Oman. So NASA is saying it's the real deal. As tanker explosion reports surface, NASA's fire information for excuse me, management system. So active thermal anomalies burning offshore in the Gulf of Oman near UAE, the United Emirates the UAE, I forgot what it stands for. All right, so the satellite data from June 17 reveals two distinct heat signatures at coordinated 22.277 N, and I'm gonna skip the rest of the number, precisely where the unconfirmed report placed oil tanker explosions, possible causes for offshore thermal anomalies. So it's a collision. That's what it is. The Gulf of Oman is a critical choke point for global oil supplies, while NASA data confirms heat signature, the exact cause remains unverified. Well, again, they're saying that these two ships collided, and that's what NASA is confirming. I don't know, guys. You got some. Again, same thing happened in DC. Remember that Black Hawk helicopter and that plane collided? Yeah, that was again. There's a possibility this might be cyber stuff. I mean, these ships, they do have radars. They see like incoming ships coming, or again, radar detection. But it seems like there's a possibility this might have been a cyber. All right, give me 1 second here, guys. I'm looking for some more information. If you can, please give this video a thumbs up. We almost at 300. Thank you so much for that. Um, guys, we have some nuke sniffer. I don't know if America is looking for radiation, but there's a nuke sniffer plane in the sky right now in America. There is a nuke sniffer, and there's a possibility it might be a military exercise, but a nuke sniffer plane is basically it was meant to detect radiation. So, for those of you that don't know, there is a nuke sniffer plane in the sky right now. Um, We have some more breaking news. Some more warplanes are headed east, headed to I guess Europe. All these planes are headed towards east, and I do believe it's to help Israel. So you got multiple B-1B Lancers bombers currently refueling mid-air via KC-135R straddle tankers. This could mean refueling before transatlantic or trans-Pacific mission, or it's a readiness drill show of force simultaneously. But the B-1B bombers almost never fly long domestic loops with refueling unless it's part of a live operation. All right, so once again, you do have some planes in the air right now. You got multiple planes. Yeah, you got some multiple planes in the air. All right. Um, so it says here 10 ballistic missiles were launched from Iran. at the Holy Land in three strikes just after midnight, 3:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m., according to the IDF. And there were no reports of impact. So these 10 ballistics seems like they were taken out. Okay, so everything kind of slowed down. I mean, earlier today there was all this crazy news coming out, but everything seems like it kind of slowed down, guys, which is a good thing. But Iran base got hit. The base got hit. All right, so intense strike targets Persia military base. All right, so they did got hit. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm gonna read your comments really quick, but I'm just double checking there's any more news here. Yeah, I think this is all of it. Oh, hold on, hold on. So, guys, Benjamin, he put out a video. He put out a video. Benjamin announced and says, I understand America first, but I don't understand America dead. So, I want to bring this up really quick. Benjamin said, Tel Aviv got hit. Next one could be New York. So, we talking about New York City. So, Benjamin saying that New York could get hit. And so he's urging Donald, you need to help us intervene and you need to take out Persia before you get hit because New York could be again the next one. And so it's very concerning, guys. And I tell a lot of people that you need to leave those city, huge population. You need to get out of Dodge because I do believe eventually one day one of these big cities are going to get hit. And we are so close to seeing Mystery of Babylon. So you got three cities. You got Jerusalem, you got Tel Aviv, and now you got Benjamin bringing up New York. All right. So this is like the closest to Mystery of Babylon. And Iran said they have a very powerful equipment that no one knows. All right. So it goes to tell you they possibly have a nuke. Give me a second here. All right, let me just read some of your comments and thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Um, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to block you for this one. I don't want to block anybody, but again, I have no choice. Someone came in here and said something about the devil. Again, we don't tolerate that here in this channel. This is a Christian channel. We don't look up to Satan. We don't look up to Satan. We look up to Jesus Christ. Um, Satan already lost. Oh yeah, he been lost already. He been lost. Even when God was created the heaven and the earth, Satan already lost. He knows it. When Holy Land attacked Persia, it was also a tribute by the numbers to the Jesuits, three different ways. Well, they struck Persia on Friday the 13th, which is something that's very important date. You guys know if you go to an elevator, let's say, you want to go to a 13th floor, you're not going to see number 13 in the elevator. They just go from 10, 11, 12, 14. They skip number 13. So we really don't have those number 13 floor. I figured to read King James Version and go by what it says. Someone said. Sultan said the bear, Russia, are seeing ballistic missiles. Oh, sending ballistic missile to Iran. There's a possibility, maybe. Someone said Tel Aviv is as Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, because they celebrating the abomination. They're celebrating the abomination out there in the Holy Land. I'm just reading your comments, and then Imma go back on X and see if there's any more breaking news. Pablo said Iran can barely hit the Holy Land. They can't hit well, yes, they hit the Holy Land, but they wanna hit them hard. The problem here is that you have US and then you have Europe. They're taking those drones out. And so Iran warned the US to stop intervening or you also gonna get hit. So they do have some very powerful ballistic and hypersonic, but it keeps, and again, US missile defense system is just incredible. It takes out those Iranian missiles and drones. Um, Way Truth Life said, Lewis, thank you for the sacrifice of time you put into the channel. Good job, brother. Hey, no problem. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Let me go back on X and see if there's any more breaking news here, which everything kind of slowed down, which is a good thing. I mean, we don't want to see no nuclear war going on. Hmm. Oh, by the way, Bernie Sanders, he wants to pass something to block Donald from taking us to World War III. So I don't know how's that gonna work. Okay, so Donald sent a message to the governor of California. If I don't put the National Guard into Los Angeles, the place will be burned down to the ground right now. I did incompetent Gov Newsom, who doesn't have a clue, the favor of a lifetime, one of the worst Gov in history. I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, he's not the greatest Gov. I mean, he gave $9.7 billion to the illegals. I mean, that's crazy money. That is crazy money. Um, we have breaking news coming out. Breaking news, G7 leaders issued joint statement declaring Persia can never have a nuclear weapon. So it's not only Donald, but you also have these other countries saying they can no longer have a weapon, nuclear weapon. G7 leaders, including the US commander in chief, issued a joint statement supporting the Holy Land right to defend itself, while describing Persia as the principal source of regional instability and terror, and declaring that Persia can never obtain nuclear. Some people's gonna be like, "Oh, that's not right." India and Pakistan and all these other countries they have nuke. How come they can't have nuke? Well, simple. They keep chanting death to the sleeping giant and death to the Holy Land. I mean, they don't like us. They don't like us. And if they have nuke, man, if they have it, it's just gonna be big problems. I mean, we don't want to see another North Korea 2.0. In this context, we affirm that the Holy Land has a right to defend itself. Canadian officials confirmed that the US signed the statement despite earlier resistance, marking an give me a second here, unified Western Front as the Holy Land Persia conflict escalates with a nuclear equipment prohibition echoing Trump's repeated warnings. The statement also calls for broader regional de escalation, urging that the resolution of the Persian crisis leads to a broader de escalation of hostility in the East, including a cease plan in Gaza. I forgot all about Gaza. I mean, that's another big issue there. Man, guys, I mean, look. I'm not trying to bash Donald here, and I'm not trying to start anything with the left or the right, Democrat or Republicans. I'm not trying to start anything here, but I gotta speak facts. Donald, ever since he became the leader, I mean, we've seen a lot more war now. We've seen a lot more. Um, like I said, Donald is great when it comes to business. He's great when it comes to that. All right. So again, he did good stuff with Saudi Arabia. I mean, selling whatever. But when it comes to war, he's not that great. He's not a King David. King David is, I mean, King David, he knows how to deal with when it comes to war. If you don't look, if you don't know anything about war, let's say, a president that has served in the army for 20 years, he knows about war, all right, because he served in the military. And so he knows how to deal with war. He knows how to, you know, fix certain problems. But if you have Donald who has no experience in war, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was in the military. I think Donald was in the military when he was young. Maybe his parents or whatever. But if you don't have any experience when it comes to war, it's gonna be hard for you. It's gonna be hard for you. That's why you have the cabinet. That's why you have all these the Secretary of Defense, you got all these other people that can help you out or back you up. George Washington, he was a man of war. I mean, he was like the only president that went to war, and they almost got him too. They almost got George Washington. Just imagine if George Washington was dead. We would not be here. America will not be here. Um, all right, give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just trying to refresh the page here. So you got this man here, and again, I really don't like this dude. Again, when it comes to the political stuff, so you have Lindsay just called for a change in Persia, saying it's time for Donald to go all in for the Holy Land. He is calling on Donald to join the biblical war. Man, these people, they love war. They just love war. Again, look, these people, they have bunkers. They have satellite phones. All right. All these politicians, they have satellite phones because let's say we get hit by a EMP, our phones will go down. Everything will go down. But again, they're gonna have these satellite phones that it's like a backup. All right. So they got their backup phone, they got bunkers, underground city, they got all that stuff. They good. But we don't have none of that. It's like Benjamin. Benjamin pushed the button and hit Persia, and then from what I heard, he went on a plane and left to Cyprus or Greece while the Holy Land was seeing fire. George Washington, he never ran. He never ran. He stood in the front line. Hmm. All right, let me just read some of your comments because I'm not seeing nothing else here, guys. Wow, we almost have 40 minutes. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on. I see something here. The Holy Land should prepare for possibility of Persia carrying out nuclear tests, says defense analyst Ron. A nuclear test? Hmm. Perhaps I think Persia might test a nuclear and to send a message. Um. All right. So far, it seems like that's all the information. Let me just read some of your comments. Um. Michelle W said, "That's why many." will make it to heaven by fire. The Bible says that's the verse you need to study. The Bible said that's the verse you need to study. Um, Jesus said that he is the way, the truth, and the life. That's who we need to focus on. Yes, the Bible is very important, but the most important one is John 3:16. Everybody's here talking about the verse. Gabriel said it's past my bedtime. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gabriel. I come at like close to midnight and just bring all the breaking news updates. Robert said Elon didn't win part of it, so they gave that man a black eye. He's been really quiet though. Ever since Elon left, it's like all of a sudden that's it. No more Elon. I'm just reading your comments. Guys, if you can give this video a thumbs up. Wow, we reached 400 likes. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have some moderators, guys. So I'm just gonna have to do something about the comments because I see a lot of trolls. I had to block some people. Okay, so Philip said, I don't see Donald being responsible for lots of wars. Well, I'm not saying he's responsible for all this. I'm just saying that when it comes to war, it's just not there. It's not. Because he did mention, he said that he was gonna end it, and he said that he was gonna bring peace, but it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It actually it's the opposite. He realized, oh man, this is not easy. This is not easy. Again, this is why, when you run for president, you can't say, well, when I become president, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and then once you get in office, it's like a whole different ball game. And you lose a lot of supporter. Well, I thought you was gonna do that and that and that. So it's different once you get into power. It's different. It's not the same. This is why I don't get mad when Donald say these things because I already know, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. So, but again, it just Donald should know better that he cannot bring peace. If you read scriptures, you know well that in the end time, peace has been replaced with destruction. The Bible says that there's going to be antichrist spirits that's coming. Paul said that God will give up people to reprobate mind. Paul said there will be perilous time and perilous men. All right, so all these things will happen in the end times. That's not peace, ladies and gentlemen. That's destruction. But there will be peace when Jesus comes from the heavens with great power and glory. Peace is coming. You just have to be ready and prepared spiritually, physically, and mentally. Um, Trevor said, well, Donald stepped into a mess. No, not really. Again, it's just politics stuff. Donald, again, realizing that he can't do it. So, what do you do now? How do you fix all this? How do you fix this war? How do you stop the Holy Land, Persia, Ukraine, Russia? How do you stop all this? You can't. The only one that could stop it is God, because God could harden the heart of leaders. He did it before. He did it to King Pharaoh. Excuse me, Pharaoh. He did it to Pharaoh. He did it to King Nebuchadnezzar. He hardened their hearts. So we cannot do that. We can't. We think we could do that, but we can't. Sometimes, us human, we just fall into sin. That prideful, being pride. I could stop all this. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't even tie your own shoe. But yeah, this is when Donald needs to pray to God. Donald needs to go to a private room, get down to his knee, just like Solomon, King David's son. When King David anointed his son to be king of Israel, King David, he died of old age. Solomon became the king of Israel. And Solomon, he's like, well, Solomon went to sleep and he had a dream. God came to his dream and asked Solomon, "What do you want? I will give you whatever you want." Solomon is like, "Give me wisdom. Show me wisdom. Teach me wisdom because I want to take care of my people and I don't know how to do that." And God was amazed. God is like, I will, God was in shock. He's like, "You know what? I will give you wisdom." And the next day, Solomon woke up. He wrote a letter to the king of Lebanon. And the king of Lebanon read the letter and he was amazed. He was like, he was in peace. He's like, "Man, Solomon, look, me and you, we could be friends." And the king of Lebanon told Solomon, "You could build your temple here." Not one, but two, because Solomon built a temple for his wife. So, I mean, that's amazing, and that letter was filled with wisdom, God's wisdom. That's what we need. We need God. We need God back in this country. The problem is everybody just, I could do this on my own. You got Benjamin, he say he don't believe in Jesus, and now look at him, he's about to drag everyone to WWE. His path could lead to destruction. If you don't have Christ, you're gonna see some bad things, and he's gonna have to answer to God with all the young ones that were taken out in these biblical wars. Give me a second here. Elon, what? Everybody's talking about Elon here. Blue Light said, "Too much wisdom is not good." God's wisdom? That's what I'm referring to. God wisdom is good. God wisdom is good. It's beautiful. AZ said, "Lewis, I have previous moderator skill. Lewis, I'd be happy to keep the riff." All right, AZ. I seen you a couple of time in here and make you a moderator. And I did receive some emails from a couple of moderators. They couldn't make it tonight. I can understand too. It's really late and stuff. But yeah. Bought by his blood. Jesus said you have to die to your flesh, pick up your cross, and follow him. Amen to that. Amen to that. Pamela said, "Okay, just joining. What is Lewis discussing?" Ooh, ooh, that's a whole different story I just threw in there, man. 48 minutes. Wow. Almost hitting 1 hour. Kathleen said, "Finally caught a live." Hey, I go live 11:30 p.m. Eastern time or 12 a.m. I always go live at those time. Question. Sam said, question. We know Holy Land doesn't believe in Jesus. Does Persia? That's not true. Everybody, again, this, countries, there's people in there that believe in Jesus. But the Holy Land, they believe that Jesus, I mean, some of the Holy Land people, they believe Jesus is a prophet. They don't believe that he's the Son of God. They don't believe it. Um, again, and the reason why, well, the Pharisee, you guys know the Pharisee, they felt like, "Oh man, this man is gonna take us down and everything." He got all these followers. So Jesus called out the Pharisees because the Pharisees were doing the wrong job. And the Pharisees, they were only thinking about themselves and cheating people out. And so, they were supposed to be rabbi teachers, and what the stuff that they were doing. Mm-mm. And Jesus called them out and stuff, and they didn't like it. The Pharisees didn't like it. It was like he's a threat. And then you got the Roman Empire; they felt like they're being threatened too. So, Jesus, just spoke the truth that his kingdom is heaven. And so, back in the days, when you say like that, again, when you say stuff like that, this man claims to be the king, and those king back in the days, they don't play that stuff. Like the king of the Roman Empire, they don't play that. So if you call yourself a king, that's a whole different story back in the days. So I think it was Parrot, the Roman Empire. He said, "Are you king?" And Jesus said it many times. My kingdom is not of this world. And he was looking at the Roman Empire, the leader, face to face. Basically, he was telling him, if we were in my kingdom, we will not be discussing this. Give me a second here, guys. Hey, Mikey. How was your first day at work? Okay. All right. You work like a full-time shift? All right. That's good. You work tomorrow? Okay. Yeah. All right. Love you too. My son just got home from work. He got another job. He got two jobs. Two jobs. My daughter has two jobs and she go to school. Yeah. But give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second here. Let me just pull up something really quick. Want to see if there's any more breaking news. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hmm. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm not seeing nothing else. Yeah, I'm not seeing nothing else. Nothing else. But going back to Jesus, um, remember when the Pharisee gave Jesus to the Gentiles, to the Roman Empire, they whipped Jesus and they spit on again, they spit at him, they beat him, um, and you had the leader of the Roman Empire. He didn't want to persecute him because he's like, this man has done nothing wrong. So why should I persecute this man? He's done nothing wrong. And so at the very end, he just washed his hand and say, do whatever you want with him. If the people want him to be crucified, crucify him. But in that moment, Jesus basically when he confronted the leader of the Roman Empire, whenever face to face, Jesus, I could tell Jesus was saying, if this was my kingdom of heaven, no, in my kingdom of heaven, you would not be confronting me face to face and discussing. No, give me a second. Ah, I had it in my head and I lost it. Um, oh no, no, no. So the Roman Empire leader told Jesus, "Are you king?" And Jesus said, "My kingdom is in heaven." And so basically, Jesus was saying, if we were in heaven, we would not be discussing this. But again, guys, Jesus is the King of all kings and the kingdom of heaven. That's his domain. That's where we're gonna be at. The kingdom of heaven. So give me a second here, guys. So far, there's nothing else. At least 14 are gone. Okay, so 14 are gone in the holy excuse me guys, let me just turn this around. I truly apologize. At least 14 gone, over 40 wounded after the bear combined strike on Kiev. These are just preliminary reports. Multiple residential buildings were hit. Man. Mm. Wow. So you have the US president considers travel ban on another 36 countries after restricting people from 19 nations from entering the US. Mm. So the latest news is this one here, guys, which is in Ukraine, which is the big one. The bear mass strike hits Kiev, taking 14 and injuring at least 40. That is the latest update. Wow. Okay, so basically that's it, guys. Let me just read some of your comments. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. There's a shelter in place. A shelter in place. U.S. Embassy in the Holy Land orders shelter in place for staff. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has ordered all U.S. Gov employees and their families in the Holy Land, the West Bank, and Gaza to shelter in place amid the ongoing conflict between these two. So the embassy will remain closed on Tuesday, June 17, with all consular services suspended in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Wow. Passport and consular reports of birth abroad services are unavailable until further notice. You got the Ben Gurion Airport and the Holy Land seaports remain closed, halting all commercial and charter flights. Geez, the airport has been closed these last couple of days. Land crossing to Jordan and Egypt are open. All right, so airport has been closed these last couple of days. Mm. All right, guys, this is all the news. Someone said, who was this? Mama Sean said, my guess is going to be at 3:30 a.m. Alabama time, but we will see. Are you referring to the Situation Room? I think that's going to be the time between 2:30 and 3 a.m. From what I heard, you're gonna have the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the Secretary of Defense Pete, and the U.S. President Donald. It's gonna be a very important meeting. Thanks, Louis, and happy belated B Day. Guys, I gotta remind a lot of people that I celebrated my birthday early because my family came here, and it was my brother's birthday too, and his son's birthday was on the 16th today, actually yesterday. But my birthday is on June 21st, but we celebrated early. My family left today, and I truly miss them. And I have to go see them soon. I think maybe next couple of months. But yeah, we had a good time. We went out fishing. We had a good time, and I really miss them. It's been so long. I haven't seen my family. You have no idea what I truly think. The Watchmen, you cast more and more false accusation. Mark C said. Blue Light said they always have money for wars. Yeah, and they have money to build an underground city bunker, $21 trillion. Life goes on, 6 said. Black Cube, Tree of Life. Jared Kushner holds. The Banana famine, expect, born generation. Uh, I think that's more towards conspiracy stuff there. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bash you on this one here. David H. Holmes said, my brother was killed in a wreck last night. I'm broken. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, David. Man, I'm so sorry about that. My condolences to you and your family. My condolences to you and your family. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, man, that's again losing a family member is heartbroken. I mean, that could be. I mean, that's painful. Nobody want to lose their family members. That's why it's very important to live life cheerful and happy. You don't hold on to grudge. Always, always. Every time you see your friends or your family, just hug them really tight. Say, "I love you." Life goes on. 6 6 said, "Dude." Watchman said, "Lewis knows there's some level of responsibility. You guys making it out like you can do whatever you want. Doesn't fit biblical as teleology or anything. Judgment comes on the wicked." Guys, if you can just pray for David. He lost one of his family member on a car wreck uh, last night. So again, I lost my best friend in, you know, motorcycle accident, and he was too young. He was 25 years old, but he lived that crazy life. That crazy life. He was like a daredevil. He was doing all these tricks on the bike and popping a wheelie and all that crazy stuff. And he fell off the bike and the front was broken and everything. The headlights, he fixed it up, and then he decided to raise the seat. He decided to raise it up, and so when he did that, the spring it kind of bounces up and down. And I told him, man, you got to get that thing fixed, man. That's not good. That seat's supposed to be nice and sturdy, not bouncing up and down. And so, I remember he was very sad. Um, he didn't tell me why, but we talked for like a long time, and it was like a night like this, and we talked and everything, and he's like, "Can you give me a ride home?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I dropped him off, and he came to the side, the driver's side, and I put the window down. He's like, "Hey, I think it's time to make for me to find new friends." Because he was sad. I don't know why. I mean, he wouldn't tell me anything, but again, he's my brother. Well, he was my brother. He just passed away, but and when he was walking away, I'm like, "Hey, you still have a best friend here." And he shook my hand and everything. He's like, "I needed to hear that." Then the next day, he died. He died. He died in a motorcycle accident. He flew off he hit the divider and he flew off the bridge and he landed on the grass and completely broke his back, and his arm here hit the light post, so the whole thing came off. Uh, I shouldn't have never said that. I totally apologize. But yeah, it's very important to always, 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 pray for your family, your loved ones, and always, you know, don't hold to grudge and love your loved ones. All right. That's why Jesus says, love your enemy, pray for your enemies. You know, life is short to hold on to all these hates. I see people on Facebook and especially young people. I'm done with my ex, and then the next day I love my ex, and then the next day I block my ex. It just, man, it goes to tell you that people need Christ. People need to hear the gospel. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna end it here. Once saved, always sealed is the truth of the word. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna go inside, but thank you so much for watching. And again, remember, Jesus Christ is the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Remember, God so loved the world that he gave his one and only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. What Jesus did on that cross, he did it for God's people. It's going to be a time that we are going to be in heaven, and everything's gonna be good. Everything's gonna be beautiful. Just enjoy this life. God said to live your life cheerful. That's what God said. Live your life cheerful. God did not give us a spirit of fear. You know, if you have anxiety, if you're feeling depressed, get into the Word of God. Read Psalms. Read, scripture. Put the phone down. Put all the social media stuff away, and open the Bible. Make yourself a cup of tea or coffee. Just everything silence. I remember my pastor told a story that there was this one man, and he lived alone, but he was a very happy man, and he loved God, and he loves Jesus. This man doesn't have a radio, he has no TV, he has none of that type of stuff. And one day, his friend came to visit him, and his friend had a newspaper. And so the guy is like, "You could come in, but that newspaper stays outside. That newspaper stays outside. You come in." I mean, how many people out there, is willing to give up the things of the world? I don't want to know nothing about the world. I want to know Jesus. That's it. All right. Okay, guys. I'm gonna end it here, but thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a good night. Till next time later. Peace.